Hello everyone, it's Martin Tennant here again, here to give you another lesson. This time we're going to do another lesson on alternative guitar tunings, and today we're going to look at a very unique tuning. It's called the Open G tuning, and in short, as soon as you get into the tuning you just sound like Keith Richards from the Rolling Stones. Or what I should say is that it's hard not to sound like Keith Richards when you're in this tuning. That's what I find anyway. So it's straight away, if you love the Rolling Stones, then this is something that you absolutely have to know, because Keith Richards used this tuning all the time, and a vast majority of the Rolling Stones songs, at least Keith Richards parts, use this tuning. So this is a great one, and a must know one if you want to be playing some Rolling Stones records the way Keith Richards did it. So straight off the bat, I'm just going to show you a few things that that you can do with this tuning. I'll show you a lot of different chords that you can do, some of which the chords you actually play in standard tuning but will sound totally different in this tuning. And I'll show you a couple of lead ideas that you can do as well, so you can get some real use out of it. So let's get started. Now I've already tuned into the tuning, so I can't show you at the moment how to get into tuning like I did with the previous two videos on standard D flat and drop D. But I could tell you what the notes are that's been tuned to. For Open G tuning is, for the low E string we have low D, so it's tuned down a whole step. So we have to tune down a whole step for that one. For the A string we have G, so again that's tuned down a whole step. And then good news, for the next three strings it's exactly the same as standard tuning. We have D, remains the same as D, it's just D. Then we have G, which is still G. Then B, which is still B. And the only other one that's different is the high E, which just like the low E is tuned down a whole step to D. So the only strings you need to alter are the 6th string, the 5th string, and the 1st string. The G, D and B will remain the same. And so take a moment or two to pause the video and to get yourself into. Okay, so now I'm assuming that you've got yourself into the tuning, and if you have done so and you've done so correctly, then this is what your guitar should now sound like. Isn't that really nice? So we're actually now tuned to a chord. So the idea of an open tuning is that you're now tuned to a chord instead of being tuned to a certain group of adjacent strings and adjacent notes. So you can play certain chords according to that sort of a group of adjacent strings. With open tunings such as Open G, Open D, Open A, you get loads of others too. The idea is that all the open strings are tuned to a chord, so you can just play a chord using the open strings, and you can play other chords and other melodies and scales based on the idea as well of it being tuned to a chord. So for that reason, you're probably thinking, well, if it's tuned to a chord, does that mean you could just play a chord without fretting any strings, just using all the open strings? Well, the answer is yes, you can, because if you play all the strings open, that's a G major chord. Hence why it's called Open G tuning, because you're tuned to a G major chord. If you want the G chord to have the G in the bass, then you only want to strum from strings 5 down to 1 and leave out the 6th string. But as the 6th string is a D, which is part of a G major chord, that can count as well. You'll just get a G with a D in the bass, but it'll still work regardless. The thing you can do straight away, you can just play, mess around with some strumming patterns just with the open strings, like just like that. If you want to, you can do some melody stuff. You can do it like you do with the pentatonic in the open position. You can do that with this tuning, and you can mess around with the G chord. you get the idea. Now the really cool thing about this tuning, apart from the fact that the open strings are tuned to a chord, is that because it's open strings are tuned to a chord, you can play a major chord by just barring all 6 strings with one finger and then just moving around the neck. So for instance, do a bar, cover all the 6 strings on the 2nd fret and you'll get an A major chord. Move it up another step, you get B flat major. Another step, you get B major. Another half step again, you got C major. Full step, D major, E major, F major, G, and so on. So immediately, if you want to play a major chord, any major chord in this tuning, then all you have to do is a bar, cover all 6 strings or just all 5 strings, and you're good to go. You can even just do part of a chord if you want. You can just do the upper part if you don't want it to sound too basic. Alternatively, you can do a more of a bluesy kind of idea. So if you want to do like your typical, you can do that based on the D string. And you can even do the exact same thing an octave lower based on the D, because it's got the low D. So you'll have. So you have a choice of having a low D bluesy power chord or a high bluesy power chord for the D. And if you want to do it for G, then you do it on the G, but because you have to accommodate for the tuning, the G power chord will actually just be strings A, strings D open, and then if you want the 6th to come in, then you put your 2nd finger on the 2nd fret of the D string, and then you have your 3rd. So it's open, then open A and 2nd fret on D, and you'll have your G. And you can also add your 3rd finger on the 3rd fret, so you can get the minor 7th in there. That bluesy power chord idea and move it around the neck. All you need to do is take that open position idea and move it up with a bar chord. So get a partial bar on, in this case I've got it on the 5th fret of the strings A and D, and then so that's the power chord, and then to get the 6th, we just put our 3rd finger on 2 frets above on the D string. You go back and forth between those 2. And if you want the flat 7, then you have to get your pinky, get the fret above that on the D string, and then you can move that bit at the neck. So let's move up to D now. Move up again to E. Back down to D. Now let's go back to G. What I did there, just kind of an extra, I used my pinky to go up to the 5th fret on the D, so I can get the G up on top, so you get a more of a melody going on while you're playing the power chord. Another thing you can do, if you want to go more along the lines of Keith Richards, you can take this major bar chord shape idea. I'm playing it up here on the 5th fret, so that'll be the C major chord, and you can alternate between that chord and a chord where you add on your 1st finger and your 3rd finger, so you can get the kind of like the 4th of chord of the key that you're playing it in. So in C that would be F, so you can get like an F chord. can go back and forth between those two. That immediately sounds like Keith Richards right there. So what I'm doing there, I've got this bar chord major shape, and I'm adding on my first finger onto the, in this case it's on the 5th fret, so this would be the 6th fret on the B string, and then the 3rd finger is going to go on the 7th fret of the D string. You just add those two on to that major bar chord shape, and then you take it off again when you want to go back down to the chord, and you just alternate between those two shapes. It's pretty cool, and you can move that along the neck as well. So here's the in D. Is it in E flat? So you get the idea. If you want to do more lead stuff, you can do it based on this similar idea as well, because there's a sort of pentatonic shape that you can still get, because the D, G and B is still comes from the standard E tuning. You can still do the typical pentatonic licks. So you have so what we have here, I'm playing this on the D major chord, so we're up here on the 7th fret. So that would be 1st finger on the 7th on the A string, then we have 3rd finger on the 9th of A, and then we've got 5, then we've got 7 and 9 on the D, 7 and 9 on the G, then we've got 7 and 10 on the B. So you can do your standard lick ideas based on that. You can also add in this note here, which would be the 8th fret of the B string. And then you can use the chord to kind of add some rhythm and lead ideas at the same time. Cool idea you can do in this tuning is you can take, this is something that I just kind of came across, and this is really cool. When I was just messing about in this tuning, and I came across this chord that you can, it's actually, you could play in standard tuning, but if you play it in open G, you can still get a chord, but you get a really different chord. You get this really nice version of a G major add 9 chord. Isn't that really such a lush and rich sounding chord? So all I'm doing here is I'm using this exact same fingering that I use for when I'm playing the A sus2 chord in standard tuning. So we have open A, 2nd finger on 2nd fret of D, 3rd finger on 2nd fret of G, then open B and open D. And what's really magic here is that you can actually move this shape up several frets, and you can come up with chords that are even more lush, rich and full of wonderful note combinations. So if I was to take this same shape that I've got here right now, move it up by 2 frets, so now we're on the 4th fret for the 2 fingers and all the other strings are open. Now let's try this chord. Beautiful. So now it's more like a kind of a G major 7 sound. And that's just by taking that same shape that I played down here, the sus2 idea, and just moved that whole shape up a whole step. So you can just go back and forth between the two. can go all the way up to the 7th fret with the same shape, and you've got another G chord. This would be great for like just picking the notes. It's really cool. And you can do the same thing up a step, 2 steps from that, 2 frets. So now we're on the 9th fret. And then this is more like a G with a 6, a major 6 in there. Again, really lush and rich sounding chords. And these are all just using 2 fingers on that, based on the A sus shape idea. We have some real fun just with these 4 chords. Take the A minor 7 shape that you know from standard tuning, put first finger on the 1st fret of the B string and put 2nd finger on the 2nd fret of D and leave E string out, and then play all the other strings. You can actually get another version of G which sounds really nice. It's more like this is more like a sus 4 idea of G. Again, really nice. Magic again, you can actually move this shape up a whole step, 2 frets up, and you'll get another really lush chord. And we've got some unison notes playing there as well. Some of the strings are actually playing in unison with each other, so you're getting a really cool sound right there. Some ideas that you can do with open D tuning. Just one more thing I want to quickly show you, then we'll wrap up for this lesson. If you want to know any songs that are using this tuning, then pretty much any Rolling Stones song will use this tuning. And I don't know many other artists that use open G tuning, admittedly, but certainly Rolling Stones is the best band to go to find examples of songs in open G. And probably one of the most famous examples of one of the songs that uses this tuning is Brown Sugar. To the stuff that I taught you in this lesson and have some fun with it, and have fun with the tuning, because this is quite unique tuning and it's not very many songs, especially these days, use this tuning, so it's quite nice every so often to try something that's a little bit different to the norm and to be a bit more experimental and creative musically. This is a great way to be a bit more creative and get new sounds out of the guitar that you wouldn't get in standard tuning or drop tuning. So have fun with this stuff, have fun with the tuning, and I'll show you another open tuning in the next lesson for this series. So stay tuned for that. Check out my other series and have fun learning all this stuff, and good luck with Guitar Journey, and I'll see you in the next lesson. Take care.